4 seasons lost. In Austin, I saw, pause. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Dog dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear, quick, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving and grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose.
Truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. And you know it is Terrific Tuesday or Trade Tuesday, however you want to say it. And we are at George's Happy Hog. And if you haven't been here, that is your problemo, and you need to change that with the quickness. It's one of my favorite places. Of course, we're here every Tuesday here at George's. And all the information right there, 712 on Culbertson Drive. They're just east of Lincoln, just north of the Capitol, south of the Capitol and north of the OU Medical Center, just off of Lincoln. And if you go left, you'll go into the Harn Homestead. So you want to go back east and go up Culbertson, come to the stoplight right there, the stop sign in Lindsay, go right past that, and it's just on the south side of the street. Open Monday through Saturdays, 11 to 7. Closed Sundays, clearly, because they're doing a lot of smoking and getting all this stuff. Plus, they got to go to church. For catering events, call them at 405-525-8111. And you can see, man, it's a line behind me, and it's just great. And, today I'm having, Thursday we came because we were going to do burnt ends for the people over at Y&B. They love the burnt ends there at Y&B, but we couldn't do it simply because they were closed. They were doing an event, so they were closed on Thursday. They were doing a catering event, and when they do it, they bring the whole staff. They make sure everything is done. I highly recommend you using these guys. They're fantastic. So that being said, sorry we're on a little bit late today, but, I was trying to wait to the last possible minute to get all the latest trades. Not sure if I got them all, but this is what I have because, remember, the trade deadline just ended. I guess it just ended, or it ends at 3. So, but anyway, there's been a lot of activity today, and let's get you caught up to what I know of what had transpired up until I came on air today. So the biggest, there's a couple big things to me. The Vikings, they've just loaded up. They got the Green Bay let their best linebacker go. He's now with the Vikings. Then all of a sudden the Lions trade the tight end T.J. Hawkinson to the Vikings for a second and 223, a third and 224, a fourth and 223, and a conditional fourth and 244. I'm like, 224. I'm just going, when do people trade people inside the division? Isn't it your job to beat the people in your division? But you're going to give them arguably the best tight end in the North. You're going to give them to the team who's already 4 games ahead of the Lions. I think they're getting ready to be 3 games. I think they're 3 games ahead of the Packers right now. And that's something we'll do next week, because we're now the halfway part of the season. So we'll start into putting up the leagues or the divisions and who's beating who and who's leading what division. So that being said, I don't understand how I'm not, these new GMs and the way people think today, I'm not trading anybody, especially one of my best players, to a team that's a rival in my division. That is not happening under any circumstance. I'm not doing that. But, whatever, they got a ton of picks for them, and the Lions, I guess they need picks. They are young, and they do have some needs. They got to have a quarterback, and we'll pop up. In fact, speaking of quarterbacks, we'll talk about that. Why don't we just bring that up right now? Let's talk about the top tight ends quarterbacks that are coming through the draft. Okay, here are my top 10. I'm not sure about DJ. This is my thing. These top 5 with C.J. Bryce, Will, Tanner, Hendon Hooker now that he's playing really, really well. He's 25, though, so he's kind of like Joe Burrow. He was really older when he came out. I think Joe Burrow was 24 when he left LSU. So a little bit older, but at that same time, way more experience, almost like Kenny Puckett at the Steelers. Same type thing. But DJ, I'm just not sure. They replaced you in a game in order to win the game. So I don't know how I can put you as one of the top players, but the NFL scouts love that about you because you're big, strong, you got a big arm, you're very mobile, so the upside is fantastic. For you, Anthony Richardson, I'm up and down on him. Sometimes at Florida, sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. I'm not real sure. Tyler Van Dyke at Miami, Cameron Ward, Washington, and if that's not been, I'm just not sold on him. I mean, he's a Mac Jones to me. But CJ, yes, he's big, he's strong. Bryce, my only knock on him is he's small. Will Levis, I really like him, even though he struggled at Tennessee last week. Tanner McGee at Stanford, he's a good, solid player. And then Hendon Hooker, of course, is just athletic as they possibly can get. But so I understand why they're doing what they're doing, but these are all second-round picks, so I'm not sure exactly what all they're really trying to get for that. But when you look at the Bears and what they're receiving, it's crazy what the Bears are getting. I mean, when you look at this, I mean, it's just insane. Excuse me. It's just insane what the Bears are getting. But I mean, it's what the Lions were getting, but they needed that. But so now we look at the Bears. The Bears trade Roquan Smith, which clearly that was going to happen, okay, because after they traded the other day for Robert Quinn, when they traded him, he was crying on the podium. So that was saying to me right there, it's like, oh, you don't want to be here. You're crying about somebody we traded. You need to go. And the Ravens, of course, need a spy they need a spy for Joe Burrow. And they need a spy for Mahomes. They need a spy for Josh Allen. If you're going to go far in the playoffs, you got to have a linebacker that can handle the quarterbacks that are in your division that you have to worry about, who are mobile and who can throw. So I think it was a great pickup by the Ravens. They gave up a second and a fifth, plus they gave up A.J. Klein back to them for a linebacker. But I do like what the Bears are doing, and we'll discuss that in detail a little bit. But now, this is what the Bears have right now in 2023, okay? They've got a first, a second, a third, fourth, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and a seventh, and they have a $100 million payroll open. And then they turn around, they had 2 seconds, and they traded one of their seconds to the Steelers for Chase Claypool. I love what the Bears have done. I think they've got rid of the 2 guys on defense that they necessarily didn't need. They didn't really want to be there. They were expensive. And let's face it, right now, they're not really as good as everybody thought they were going to be on defense. But they gave up Robert Quinn, and they gave up Roquan Smith. So I like what they have done right there. They got trades. They got money. They've got a wide receiver for Justin Fields. Now what do you need? You need a couple of tackles. You need somebody up in the middle, and you need probably one more receiver. So you beef up your offensive line. You give him another wide receiver outside. You're going to be good, and we'll be going over those later about who the wide receivers are in the draft. But the fact that they traded the second-round pick to the Steelers, by the way, Chase Claypool, second-round pick for the Steelers. So the Steelers got a second-round pick for a second-round pick. And I just believe that Chase Claypool wasn't happy with the emergence of the new wide receiver out there from, where's he from? Tennessee, I believe, or is he from Clemson? Whoever, I forget where he's from right now, but I'll catch up on that. But they traded him. And Kenny Pickett obviously has a better rapport with him than he does with Chase. So, hey, why not move on? Why not do that? And I do not blame them at all for that. And then the Broncos, the last trade that I got before I got a chance to come on there and get all the stats up, was that the Broncos traded Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins for a first-round pick. Now, my thing is this: why would you do that? simply for one reason. A, the Dolphins. They're playing in head a lot, so now that you're playing ahead, what do you need? You need a pass rusher. You need somebody who can get pressure on the quarterback. You can't let the quarterback just sit back there and just do whatever the hell he wants. That's first thing. Second thing is that they needed a first-round pick. They gave up all their picks for who? For Russell Wilson. So now that gives them back a first-round pick to help bolster, if you want to talk about their wide receiver core, you want to talk about whatever, but clearly there's a disconnect there in Buffalo, in Bronco land. Now, whether it's Hackett, whether it's Russell, whatever, there's a disconnect. And a lot of it, when you start listening to some of the things that the Seahawks players who played with Russell, they're saying a lot of things. And then, Russell, why do you need an office in the facility? You're a quarterback. Why do you need an office there? And, a lot of these players, their biggest issues, and we'll talk about Kyrie here in a minute, is that you get caught up in social media and all the stuff that's in social media. Your wife a celebrity. Okay, bro, you're an NFL quarterback. You're a celebrity. You don't need to go out there and promote yourself. You're a celebrity already. You're out there, you're losing games. You're out there trying to promote hats and all kinds of stuff. What are you talking about? Sounds like to me your mind is on everything else but doing what you did to get you the $180 million, $170 million guaranteed contract. Or the contract that of 170 of it is guaranteed. Get back to what got you there. You are older. This is probably your last contract, okay? Especially at the rate you're playing. But at the same time, you got to realize, what kind of cap hit are you getting ready to deal with the Broncos in the next 2 years? If you thought about that, and that's what I'm saying with a lot of these quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes signed that, $450, $500 million contract, but what did he do? He made it cap-friendly for the Chiefs. So the Chiefs could do what? The Chiefs could continue to re-sign players. He could have signed for $1 gazillion if he wanted. But he's like Tom Brady was. Hey, look, I'm about winning. What did Allen do right after him? I don't want all the money. I want to win. So what did he do? Took a little less money than Patrick did. Took a little less, so he's have a less cap hit. I mean, how much money are you going to need? But you got these guys who are selfish. They're out there like, I want to get paid. That's fine. Who doesn't want to get paid? But, bro, come on right now. I mean, look. How good is it for you to make $50 million? Or you're not winning? Look at Aaron Rodgers. How happy is he right now? He got big old $50 million he getting. How happy is he? Just because you're making the money, you got a bunch of money, that does not make you happy. How many rich people you know are unhappy? I know a lot. But at the same time, I know a lot of poor people who are unhappy as well. So it's really a hard thing. But that being said, I love, what the Bears have done. They got rid of some guys. They got some draft picks. They can get some help for Justin Fields to find out if Justin Fields is your guy. And getting Chase Claypool is going to help. But what have they done the last couple games? They've gotten him out of the pocket. They've let him run more. They've got him moving around instead of getting him. He's not a pocket quarterback. Russell Wilson, you're not a pocket quarterback. You're a guy that moves. Get out around the pocket. Get around people. Especially now, Justin's bigger than Russell. But Russell, you got to get out of the pocket where you can see. You don't have any obstructions in front of you. You're not getting balls batted down. So I like what they're doing right now. I like what the Bears did. They've done the most. Now, the Dolphins, I really like what their pickup. Dolphins, they probably, when you look at them and all the talent they have, man, other than the Bills, they've got more talent running around there than it's just insane what they have. But Tua's not the guy. He's a guy that's a short fix. Yeah, I agree with that, but he's not the guy that's going to take you to the Super Bowl. Because one thing about guys with little hands is they're going to have a problem gripping that football when it's cold, because the football is hard. They're going to have trouble throwing the ball when it's cold. He's right down there in Miami when things are wonderful and it's warm and you get teams down there now. If everybody's got to come through you and you have home field advantage, then yeah, hey, he's a good guy for that. Because guess what the Super Bowl is going to be? In warm weather. Okay? So I like I like what the Dolphins are doing, grabbing him because they needed a defensive end. They needed somebody to rush the quarterback because let's face it, they're planning on playing ahead. And everybody talks about how the Chiefs give up a lot of offensive touchdowns. Well, the Bills are the best team in the NFL. Suppose they only gave up 24 points to them. Now other teams lined them up, yes, but they only gave up 24 points to Josh Allen. And you take away Patrick Mahomes' interception in the end zone, which is uncharacteristic. He overthrew Sky Moore. If he'd have threw it to Sky Moore, that would probably been a touchdown. But he was throwing it over Sky Moore's head, got it picked off. But your receivers got to want the ball more than they do. Scanlon. And then, of course, what does they do? Bucker misses a field goal. That's 6 points right there. That's 26-24 win. So I'm not really worried about them as much when it comes down to it. But what they do is they stop the run. They make you throw touchdowns. Well, they're going to make it. They can bend it, and you get 3 points. They know the Chiefs, #1 red zone offense. They're going to score 7. And their defense, you can give up all these passing yards, but you're not giving up touchdowns. So that makes a huge difference right there. Whew, that was a nice long rant, wasn't it? I thought it was. Anyway, once again, we're Georgia's Happy Hog, 712. Culbertson Drive. Love this place. It's open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 7. Closed on Sundays. For any catering events, call them at 405-525-8111. They are, I'm jumping on this watermelon sweet tea. And we want to thank Y&B, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. They're equal housing lender, member of the FDIC, and we want to thank them for their sponsorship today because we would not be out and about doing our remote live streams. And what they're doing is they're sponsoring all of our remote live streams that go into black, women, and minority-owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area to spread some love for them. So if you have any needs for any loans, cars, boats, houses, RVs, property, commercial, they are the people to talk to, and you can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. And go in there, you can see any people. You can go see Carson, you can go see Joe, you can go see Nathan. Or if you want to, you can go up and see Carolyn and Randy, or stay down there and see our boy Kent if he's there. So last night, Monday Night Football. Let me get to that wonderful deal last night, the Monday Night Football. I'm like, man, I tell you what. Here's the box score. Bengals, Browns. The Browns just kicked the Bengals' butt. Now, they said, it was because they didn't have Jamar Chase. And Joe Burrow has the quickest, or the fourth quickest release, 2.6 seconds to get rid of the ball. Okay? And they had Jamar Chase. But I'm just going to say this. If Jamar would have been there, it would have been no difference. He had zero time. I mean, he basically, came back 1-2 and was, let me get the hell out the way. That's what he was running for his life all night. So I don't know how much Jamar Chase would have made a difference for the Bengals. Last night, the Browns just completely dominated them. They really, really, truly did. And when you look here at the stats, it more than backs up what I'm talking about. Joe Burrow, 25 of 35 for 232, 2 TDs, 1 INT. Jacoby Brissett just played out of his mind, 17 of 22, 278, a TD, no INTs. And then Amari, I don't know what the hell what kind of pass that was. I don't know. Amari, what are you doing? They should never let him do that again. Stefanski got way too cute trying to this watermelon sweet tea is so delicious. But anyway, Amari 0 for 1 with a pick, and it was a terrible pass. Well, actually, it was a good pass. He spun it really well. He just spun it to the wrong color jersey. The total offense, total yards, Bengals only had 229. Browns, however, 440. And the Bengals have a great defense. So, but it doesn't matter how good the defense is. If you're on the field a lot, you're going to give up yards. And let's face it, the Browns, they run the ball like nobody else's business with that two-headed monster of Chubb and Hunt. Passing yards, 190 Was it? What did they have right there? I don't have my right glasses on. So I'm trying to, but anyway, 193 passing yards, 268 for the Browns, 36 rushing yards, 172 for the Browns. Chubb, of course, had 100 yards rushing. Time of possession, 25-15 to 30. 23-15 to 36-45. They had the ball 36 of 60 minutes. 36 of 60 minutes. And you wonder why their defense got tired. And, of course, each team had 2 turnovers. But, man, 36 minutes. 36 minutes. 36 minutes. That's a lot of time to have the football. I mean, an absolute lot of time to have a football. Now, you know what I'm excited about tonight? And, of course, I've got my hashtag Just Saying shirt on because guess what? Hashtag I am just saying. That Thunder is on tonight. I'm excited about the Thunder game tonight. We have the Magic coming in the house. And it was so funny is we were going to have one nationally televised game, and it was going to be the Magic because they wanted to see Paolo Banchero versus Chet. But, of course, round 2, first round, Banchero just destroyed Chet. I mean, just absolutely destroyed him. Anyway, since Chet's not playing, that didn't happen. Anyway, tonight, Magic, Thunder, the Thunder are minus 3-point favorite. Wow, -3. How about the Thunder being dogs, and now they're favorites. So hopefully that won't be a jinx. Thunder have won 3 in a row, beaten the Clippers twice. Then, of course, the big win going Saturday night, going to Dallas and beating the Mavs at the Mavs. And if you watched my show After the Storm, the Thunder post-game analysis, I break that game down in detail, and of course I will tonight after the game. Tonight I'll break it down in detail as well. But anyway, the Thunder -3-point favorites, the over/under 218, and of course Drew says you can't spell Thunder without the under, so we know he will probably take. We're talking about my guy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com. He probably will take the Thunder and the under. But that being said, I do have some things that I kind of disagree with him a little bit about, and this is why, because when you look at what the Thunder are doing right now, scoring 112 points a game, we're playing pretty decent defense, but I think I want to take the over tonight with the Thunder because I think the Thunder are at home. They're going to score a bunch of points. But injury report of the Magic Thunder game tonight, Josh Giddey supposedly is still out. They're trying to take their time, taking care of him. Plus, with the addition of Isaiah Joe, that's going to really allow Josh to be 100% healed. And I agree with that. Hold him out as long as you can. Make sure he's a 100%, not 90, not 95, not 98, but he's 105% healthy before you put him back on the court. Now, of course, Drew's going to be upset because his boy, UNC boy, Cole Anthony is not playing. Ooh, North Carolina got not playing. And then Markelle Fultz, former #1 overall pick. Anyways, and then Jalen Suggs is questionable. When usually questionable means they play. That's usually what questionable tends to mean. But what I've done is I've done some. I put the Thunder up here. I put their stats at this far, and that's what I'm going to continually do. Is put up here so everybody can kind of get a gauge on what the Thunder are scoring, how many points we're scoring, what we're shooting field goal wise, 3-point wise, assist wise, and turnover wise. So the Thunder averaging 112.3, back up again, and we had dropped down. We're back up to 112.3. Shooting, we're going back up 43% from the field, and that's overall. That's because, we're shooting more mid-range shots than we are threes. Like that, we got to continue that mindset. 3-point percentage, we're actually up to 29.5, assists 24.3, we're up, and turnovers were up. And like I said, I don't mind the Thunder. 12 to 14 turnovers a game. If you can keep it there, I think we're going to have a really good shot at doing something this year as far as the Thunder are concerned. I really, really like our team. And like I said, I want more and more people to come to the games to watch our team because we're better than what, people think. And if you're sitting back and you're not watching us and you're not wanting to come to the games, I highly recommend going. And like I said before on these my other live streams, when you have a young team, which is what we have, you have to support them. You've got to go out. You've got to give them love. You've got to come because there's times that they need that. Now, when you're on the road, it doesn't matter so much because you're like this. You're a cohesive unit, and it's you guys against the world. So you're really bonded, and you have your own, not necessarily support, but you have your own motivation. You're motivating each other because of Shaw. But when you're at home, that's when you need the crowd. Because I can promise you, we won a bunch of games. We're really good. You guys, the crowd, you're the Oklahoma City fan base, won a lot of games for the Thunder. 5 or 10 games a year you guys would win out of 41 simply because, you get in those games where you're not playing well, whatever, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden we kind of get a run in, then the crowd goes crazy. You got 18,000 people yelling. It just energizes you. Bam, we'd go on a 12-0 run, put a team away. It's the same thing with this younger team. We need a younger group of guys. We have a young group of guys. We need guys. We have guys, but these guys need your support. They need you yelling for them. They need you cheering for them. They need you lifting them up. That's what the Thunder need. That's what the Thunder require. And if we could do that for them, it would go a long, long way in helping them win more and more games. I promise you. Go to the games. It's fun to watch the Thunder and watch what these kids are doing. So the keys to the game tonight, and like I said many times, if you come watch my show After the Storm, which is my post-game analysis, and then after every Thunder game I'll come on and do that. But anyway, if you'll see that, you'll see the keys to the game. And what I always do is I always do the keys to the game prior to that game. If we're doing the show, the Unpopular Hour, then we do it that night. So play good perimeter defense because their guards are out, but we just got to keep those guys in front of us, and I talk about that, how important perimeter defense is, not letting you break down, getting wide open looks. We don't settle for threes, continue to not settle for threes. I want us to shoot 25, no more than 30 threes a game, period. You don't need to. And for those guys who just stand out there all the time and shoot threes, please take a dribble. If you miss a couple, take a couple dribbles and step in and shoot a mid-range. 2 points is better than no points. It's not a three and it's not sexy, but, man, it sure looks good, the fact that we are scoring almost every trip, and that's what matters. Continue to play within yourselves, and basically what I've said about this many, many times is we have certain guys, they think, oh, no, Dort has a tendency to do this. Baisley has a tendency to do this. Poku has a tendency. Play within what you're doing. And I've talked about Trey Mann. Trey Mann got out of the deal. He shot more times than SGA did on Tuesday. He hardly saw the floor Thursday, hardly saw the floor Saturday. Dude, you can't shoot more than the best player on our team. Best player on our team took 22 shots. You took 25. And, Trey has, since last summer, that's what he's been doing, going out there and shooting. I'm going to score so I can get paid. Well, bro, you better win. You got to dictate what you're doing. And then, of course, controlling the paint. And I talk about that many, many times. My favorite stat is points in the paint. Pip. Because he controls the paint. I don't care about all this three-point shooting goes on. That's great. But if you control the paint, which means you're getting offensive rebounds, which means you're not giving them easy looks, you're forcing them to take shots. And the farther the team is away from the basket taking shots, the more opportunities you're going to have to win games. It's that simple. The more you give up shots in the paint, that's why it's hard for us to beat the Timberwolves, is because they kill us on points in the paint. Because they got the big boy inside, and we just don't match up because we don't have anybody big, and we have to put Poku in there or Baisley, and then poor Jeremiah Robinson Earl. He's just not big enough. He's just not tall enough, and he plays center for us a lot. So that being said, it's hard. So let's take a quick break and thank our sponsors. I want to thank Collaborative Logic and all the things that they do for us is helping us stay maintained, with our logos. In fact, we've got new logos coming. New backdrops. I tell you what, I'm so excited about. By the way, this is our 125th show for the Unpopular Hour, and we want to thank Collaborative Logic for helping make sure that we've had this many shows. Thank them for doing that, and we appreciate it. SRB, if you have an engineering, surveying, or planning, my guy Mark Long is the guy for that, to talk to for that. And then Oak Grove Trucking, my guy Jose Fierro. Even though you haven't brought Drew his shirt, don't worry about that. And I want to congratulate the Broncos again on their W. And then Greg and Max Nafee over at Nafco. And once again, Max, congratulations on your gumbo win at Brent's Cajun. Man, I heard it was fantastic. Rave reviews. Sorry I didn't get a chance to get any. And last but not least is YNB, family owned and operated since 1912, the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender, member of the FDIC. If you want to pre-qualify for any loans, houses, boats, or anything like that, you can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. We want to thank them for their sponsorships, because we would not be here at Georgia's Happy Hog if it wasn't for them sponsoring our live stream remotes at women, minority, and black-owned businesses in the OKC area. So I want to thank YNB for their sponsorship for that. So that being said, remember, everybody, please go to the game tonight. I want everybody, the Thunder, we need all the help we can get. Now, my guy Drew Henthorne, his HuskerDrewPicks.com picks of the day. He's got the T-Wolves +5. He's actually taking the Thunder tonight. Hey, how about that, Drew? Taking our Thunder -3. He did not take the under, though. He did not have me that, which I don't know why he didn't do that, huh? That's usually strange. He usually has that up there. But anyway, T-Wolves +5, Thunder -3, and then the Warriors game tonight is a pick'em, which is interesting because the Warriors are usually favorites, so that's kind of an unusual thing for them to be a pick'em game. And then in football tonight, of course, Ohio plays tonight, and they're a +3 favorite. Ball State and Kent State, the battle of the states, and he's taking the under in that 62. Under 62 for the battle of the states, Ball State, Kent State, under 62, which I guess I can see that, whatever. So, I mean, I won't be watching that, because that's not a game that nobody, how many people, 1%, even that, 1/4% really care if I broadcast, if we talk about that game tomorrow, but we may just talk about the score simply because Drew of HuskerDrewPicks.com was on doing his thing and told us about the game. Now, in NBA scores last night, there was these Flyers, boy, I tell you what, they like me, and it's simply because I'm right here by the door. Normally I'm on the other side, but somebody was in for me, was in my spot. So anyway, last night, here are the games last night. The Sixers beat the the Wizards, 118-111. Of course, my guy Drew picked that. I thought the Wizards would play better, but he was right on the money. I thought the Sixers would win that game. The Kings and the Hornets, I tell you what, the Kings slowly are winning some games. I'm really shocked about them. Nobody expected them to do something. The Hornets are the Hornets. They're young. They're going to be up and down. Once they got rid of Terry Rozier, which, of course, they had to simply because of LaMelo Ball and his development, they didn't need anybody to stand in the way of his growth and him being the man on the team. So got to give Michael Jordan kudos for that, because he completely understands. The Hawks and the Raptors, 139. I tell you what, I really like Toronto. I really like what they're doing. I mean, I like the squad they've had, or that they have up there, above the border. And plus, Toronto's a great place. If you've never been to Toronto, it's a wonderful place to go visit. Fantastic, great food, great nightlife, good times. I've had fun every time I've been there. Pacers and the Nets. The Nets won a game, and we'll talk about some NBA news here in just a minute. And the Nets, they're just a dumpster fire. I guess we just might as well talk about what happened in NBA news. Their coach was fired today. It's interesting that Kyrie did his little, we talked about that yesterday, how he did his anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic, how you doing? His view on Jews, he did that. He's anti-Semitic, and or he, not necessarily he is. Clearly he is because he wouldn't promote a movie that was just untrue. It's got to. I mean, I just hate the fact that these people are coming out, all these weirdos who are these conspiracy theories. The internet's giving them a voice, and like before when they were hid away back in their own little deals where they talk to each other only because they're a bunch of crazies. Anyway, talks to the owner, and then guess what happens? The coach gets fired the next day. And it was a mutual agreement, which to me means that Steve Nash wanted out. He wanted to go back to playing tennis up in Malibu, not dealing with this. I mean, he's got money. He doesn't. I mean, I'm sure he probably took a little bit of pay cut and go, hey, look, just buy me out. Let's go. That way it doesn't look bad that you fired me. I don't look like I got fired. Pay me a little less money than what you owe me, and let's move on. Or just finish it out. If I got 2 years left, pay me out, if it's $50 million, pay me $30 million, let me move on, because you'd have to pay me the full amount anyway. So I like the fact that he's gone. I feel sorry for him. Jacques Vaughn is now the coach, and I don't know what Jacques is really going to be able to do with that. And by the way, he was a great player at KU, played against him when the AAU game, or when I was a traveling team for Gary Vick. Anyway, Jacques Vaughn, what player? I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything, because if you guys remember that Kyrie and KD said they didn't need a coach, that they could do it all by themselves. Shocker, right? Anyway, the Nets dumpster fire. KD's got to feel bad for picking his brother. Surely he knew what he was getting, but clearly LeBron didn't know what he was getting with Westbrook when he grabbed him. He knew what he was getting with Carmelo, but clearly he didn't know what he was getting with Westbrook, and KD could not have known what kind of crazy man he was getting when partnering up with Kyrie. Pistons, Bucks. The Bucks barely got past the Pistons last night. Actually, it was the Bucks won. It was actually a three-point game. And Cade Cunningham, our OSU guy, was on fire last night. He's a beast. And that Pistons team with him and Jaden Ivey, boy, I tell you what, they're going to be a handful in a couple more years. Cade has already experienced his second year. He's already establishing himself as one of the top guards in the East and in the NBA. And in another year, he'll be even at that next level. And then, of course, Jaden Ivey in 2 years, he'll be up there, and they'll be in 2 years from now. The Pistons, they're going to be hard to deal with. The Grizzlies losing to the Jazz. Drew and I did our our power rankings, and the Grizzlies and the Jazz. Man, I tell you what, the Jazz, they're scary. They really are. They've got a good team. They're young. They put together a team. Mike Conley seems to be gelling well with his group of rookies. He's leading them really, really well compared to what he had when he had all the veterans out there. Then, of course, the Rockets and the Clippers. The Clippers finally got a victory. And then Kawhi. Missing another game is 6 straight, saying that his knee is not right. Surgery did not go well. It's Kawhi. I mean, they're paying him all this money. I don't know how many games he's going to play, because if your knee is swelling, you sure as hell can't go on a flight. You can't go on a flight. If your knee is swelling, you can't go on a flight. And that's just one of those things. And, speaking from experience, as a person who had knee problems, if you got something like that, as soon as you go, the pressure's going to build, your knee's going to blow up. So you can't go on flights. So does that mean that Kawhi is only going to play home games this year? And you're paying him how much money? How much extra money do you owe him? Steve Ballmer didn't get to be a billionaire by being dumb. But at the same time, what do you do with the guy? Nobody's going to take him because he doesn't play. So you're stuck with giving him all this money that you owe him. Because who's going to take him? And clearly he's going to miss another 50 games, 60 games, 70 games, whatever it's going to be. The guy it's this load management stuff is ridiculous. I'm sorry. If you want to load management, I'm going to pay you per game you play. If you want to take games off, then you go ahead and take games off. Guess what? You're not going to get paid. I know that these guys won't do it, but to me, I just go, look, if you're going to purposely only play 65 games, then I'm paying you 65 games worth. Why am I paying you for 16 games or 15 games that you're not playing? That you're going to take time off. Why am I doing that? Oh, so you can preserve your body and play longer. Really? That's vacation days. Well, you're already getting, really? You're already getting vacation days. You only play 9 months a year, 8 months a year. So you got 4 months of vacation. And if we go to the playoffs, you got 3 months. Okay, 2 months. Still, I'm just not a fan. I know I'm old school, and you can hold that against me because I'm all about, hey, if you got 82 games, you play 82 games, especially if you're one of the top players. Because when you go on the road, and this is the problem I have with these guys, and especially LeBron. He very rarely plays here. One of my friends was bringing his son to when he was at Cleveland. Guy barely could get the money together. His son got his LeBron jersey on, paid all this money. They're sitting up in Loud City, and LeBron doesn't play, and they didn't tell him he wasn't playing. So this guy just spent $200 that he doesn't have for his son to go watch LeBron, his favorite player, and LeBron does not play. But does that bother LeBron? Nope, doesn't bother him at all. So all these LeBron supporters doesn't bother them either because they don't understand. But I promise you that if that guy was a LeBron fan, he ain't one now. Go, dude, you play at least road games for sure because home games, those kids at least can come watch you play again, but you're on the road. You only come here once, twice a year. You have 41 times they get to see you at home. But when you're on the road, these people got one, maybe 2 times they're going to ever get to see. This kid that may be the only NBA game he ever gets to go to, and you don't show up. I have a big issue with that, have from the beginning, still do, and it is a serious pet peeve of mine that these guys don't play. That take time off. But, Kawhi, once it gets in his head that, something's wrong with him, ain't nothing you're going to tell him is going to be different. Nothing you tell him is going to be different. He's going to believe that he's hurt no matter what you say. Man, I've been on a rant today. I don't know why you people got me on a rant today. Let's do a little hockey news. We didn't have my guy. Little hockey scores. We didn't have my guy on today. We need to get him on. My boy Ben. We need to get him on again. Really like Ben them when he was on. We're dressing up his part. He wants his own graphics for his show, for his part. He didn't really like my hockey background. So I'm hooking Ben up so he can make his stuff look that much better with his power rankings and all that, and we'll do that once a week for his power rankings, and we'll go over that. But anyway, last night, Capitals and Hurricanes. Hurricanes take them in a shootout, 3-2. The Red Wings lost to the Sabres, 8-3. Of course, the Kings handled the Blues. Drew, I'm sorry about your Blues loss last night, 5-1 to the Kings. Too bad, brother. I'd beat you up if you were on here on the show to talk about, but you're not on here to talk about. Then, of course, tonight, man, there's a ton of games tonight. I wish I had my boy Ben on so he could talk about all the games that are on tonight because, god dang, there's just so many. You have the Senators and the Lightning. You have the Golden Knights and the Capitals. You have the Flyers and the Blues. So hopefully the Blues can bounce back after that 5-1 shellacking last night, playing at home again. Canadians against the Wild. The Bruins, which is Ben's team, they're playing the Penguins tonight. That's going to be a good one, and they have to go to Pittsburgh for that, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. The Islanders and the Blackhawks, I do agree with him. I love those Blackhawks. I love those jerseys. They are very iconic. And like them, I also like the Bruins, and I do like the Stars jerseys as well. That star with the Dallas on it with the colors is really, really nice. The Kings play the Stars tonight in Dallas, which I could have rolled down to see that. But, of course, I'll be at the Paycom watching the Thunder and the Pacers tonight. So, I mean, not the Pacers, but the Thunder and the Magic tonight. So I'll be there watching that instead of the Stars. Predators, Oilers tonight. The Flames. Ooh, man. The Kraken. I just love the name the Kraken. I don't know. I don't know why that gets excited. I guess because I'm a sci-fi guy, and the Kraken was a monster. If you ever watched that stuff, if you're into sci-fi, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway, the Kraken, what a great, what was it, Wrath of the Titans, I believe is the name of the movies. But anyway, the Kraken was a titan, and a titan that he was coming out of the sea. The Panthers and the Coyotes tonight. The Devils against the Canucks, and the Ducks against the Sharks tonight. That is our hockey layout. And like I said, now in future we're going to try to have my boy Ben Dillman on more than once a week. We're going to try to work that schedule out where he can just come in, kind of go over his stuff really, really quick and get that all said and done. So, but really like and I appreciate what he has done for us. Now remember, well, hopefully we're going to have a Major League Baseball game today. We're not sure, but we tried to have it yesterday and it got rained out, so we'll see. The Stros and the Phillies series tied 1-1. Of course, the Stros had game one. Phillies came back and just stole the game from them in Houston. Remember, the first game is always the easiest game to win, and they did that. Phillies came back and, of course, won the second game to tie it. The Astros came back and, the Phillies came back and won the second game. What was it? Astros came back and won the second game, to tie the series up at 1. And then, of course, game 4 tomorrow at 7:03. We'll see if that game takes place. But that being said, when you look at the bracket, we go over there. Now, I've said that Phillies is the hottest. Where's the hottest teams going? And it kind of like the Braves were last year. They were kind of a play-in late. They won, 13 out of the last 15 or 15 out of 18 of their last games, got into a groove, bats got hot, pitching was good, and they just mowed through and won the World Series. And then when you see the Phillies 2-0, 3-1, 4-1, they just mowed down everybody in sight, coming back against the Astros still in game 1 in Houston, which, of course, Houston came back and got the second game. But Houston was not quite as dominant, even though winning as many games as they did this year, you would have assumed that they were going to go ahead and finish it off and win the World Series. But like I said, Philly has been hot lately coming into the World Series or coming into play, to conference play. They were just hot. And Bryce Harper is just, he's a beast. He is a straight up monster. He really is. Love me some Bryce Harper. So now in the Big 12 standings, we kind of went over those yesterday. The Big 12 standings, here they are. TCU ranked 7th, 5-0, 8-0. Kansas State 13th, 4-1, 6-2. OSU, and we talked about that, how they only dropped. They did not drop out of the top 10. Top 20. So Mike Gundy keeps his streak of 21 straight weeks or something like that in the top 20. But I agree they shouldn't have dropped out. I don't care who you are, you missing 8 starters, especially under OSU's conditions and the way that they are. It's kind of hard to do. And by the way, I'm going to have my guy Marco Murrow come on, and we're going to set up a time for him next week to talk about the OSU Cowboys and give his insight about Big 12 and have him be our Big 12 guy and just kind of talk about that. So Marco, he is my guy, and I want to appreciate all the things he does for me. Baylor 3-2, 5-3 overall. Texas 3-2, 5-3 overall. OU 2-3 and 5-3. The Sooners winning back-to-back games. It seems like they're on fire. Kansas 2-3. They host my Cowboys this weekend, so we're going to see what happens there. Texas Tech 2-3, 4-4 overall. West Virginia 1-4, 0-3, and do we even need to break up Iowa State? I just don't even. The fact that they're 0-5, I just don't even know how to even. I just don't even know what to think about that. Anyway, the games this week popping up. You have Texas Tech versus TCU, and that's going to be Man, that's going to be a good game. 11 o'clock at Fox. I think TCU will handle their business. They have every other game. The question is, will the Texas Tech quarterback survive without getting hurt? We shall see. But Texas Tech is a lot harder to beat at home than they are on the road. Baylor at OU. I might try to go to that game. In fact, I might call my boy. I may try to go sneak in and see that game, the Baylor OU game. That'd be a good game to go to. So I'm going to see if I can swing and get me a ticket to that. OSU versus KU. If Daniels comes back, OSU's in a lot of trouble. Not sure what's going to happen with Spencer Sanders and how hurt he is. I haven't looked at that yet. I usually don't do that until Wednesday or Thursday before I look at stuff like that to prepare my full analysis of the weekend games. West Virginia versus Iowa State, 2:30, ESPN Plus. OSU, of course, at KU, 2:30 on FS1. If it was earlier, if it was later, it'd be nice to try to roll down there because I don't get down to 2. So never mind, I can't go to any of those games. What the hell am I talking about? Saturday is the Special Olympics Day, so we've got all the Special Olympic kids in there, and that's one of my favorite days is to go hang out with all the Special Olympic kids. It's fantastic. And if you've never been, we do it every year at Santa Fe Family Life Center, so that's a fantastic event. And if you guys aren't doing anything, come out and support these guys and these kids. It's fantastic. Texas versus Kansas State, 6 p.m. night game on FS1. Texas is going to have a chance to come back and see what they're really made of to beat Kansas State. Now, in NFL games this week, was this week 9? I think this is week 9, right? Yeah, this is week 9. So this is going to be really, really interesting to see what is going to happen because of the simple fact that now you're into that part of the season where, like we told, November is going to be fantastic. The World Cup is 18 days away. You're going to have NFL right in the mix because it's on the downside of the schedule. The NBA season will be 15, 20 games in. So you'll really get to know what your team is or what your team is trending to be. And hockey will be the same thing. Will be 20, 25 games in, so you'll be able to see what they're doing there. Baseball will be pretty much over, but you'll have the World Series. Hopefully it will go to 6 or 7 games because that's worth watching, but we shall see in this game. This series seems to be on that road to where it's going to be a 6 or 7 game series, so it will last into November. But when you look at the schedule this week, Thursday, the Eagles versus the Texans, and see Drew, my boy Drew Henthorne. See what you did, Drew? You messed up right there saying how great the games were on Thursdays, and then here we go, Eagles versus the Texans. And if you're not an Eagles fan, are you really going to watch that? I mean, of course, I have to because of the simple fact that I have no choice. But I won't be able to watch it. I'll have to watch YouTube highlights because the Thunder play Thursday night against the Nuggets at home, so I will be doing my post-game analysis show after the Storm, so I'll be watching that game, the Thunder game instead in Thunderdome. Colts, Patriots, Sunday, Chargers, Falcons, Dolphins, Bears, Panthers, and the Bengals. I mean, that's gonna be interesting to watch that and see how the Bengals respond. I think they'll probably destroy the Panthers, but we shall see what happens with that. Packers versus the Lions. Packers should get healthy on the Lions. The Lions are clearly regrouping and trying to re-up to get some more draft picks and continue to build their young team that they have. And like I said, quarterback is a premium for them. And I went over earlier the top 5, 10 quarterbacks in the draft for them to look at possibly getting. So we shall see what go that. Raiders and the Jags. The Raiders, man, after getting a donut and being shut out, hopefully they can come back and rebound from that just embarrassment. The Bills versus the Jets. The Bills did not play well. The Jets have been playing better, but of course, without Brees, with him getting hurt, I don't know. Now Zach got exposed. Still can't believe he said what he said. You know, I just don't. It's just such a waste when you have to throw the ball away. What the hell are you talking about? Live to fight another day, and when you don't, guess what happens? you throw three interceptions, and it costs your team a chance to win, and you get beat. So I don't know how much chance I give the Jets if they've just got to rely on Zach Wilson, which I think exactly what Buffalo is going to happen. And so the Jets, Jets, Mets, same thing may end up happening to them. The Vikings and the Commanders, man, the Commanders have won 3 in a row. The Vikings just got better getting T.J. Hawkinson. I don't know how much he'll play simply because they just got him. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. I'm sure he'll probably play some. Probably have 5 or 10 scripted plays and just get in there and block, and you know how to do that. So that's going to happen. But the Commanders have won 3 in a row, so we'll see what goes on with that. Seattle and the Cardinals, that's a 3 o'clock game, and then the Rams and the Buccaneers, the other 3 o'clock game. Man, they just don't give us a lot on Sunday to look forward to, do they? I mean, those only two games. Ugh. I guess I'll just be waiting for the Titans and the Chiefs that night. Then, of course, you have the Ravens and the Saints on Monday. So the Titans and the Chiefs is going to be interesting because Andy Reid is basically, he does not lose after they take the bye week. I don't know if he just very rarely loses. His team, he gives them 4 or 5 days off the week before. They come back the next week. They're fully ready, healthy. You just make sure, hey, take care of yourself. Don't be around people stupid. Don't go out and get drunk and drive drunk. And don't, go out. We be around a bunch of people where you can get COVID virus. Take care of yourself. Put the team first. Not yourself. Put the team first. And when you do that, that helps and makes all the difference in the world. So that's our full weekend. We got a lot going on, and we'll talk about obviously more stuff tomorrow. Get everything. We'll have more of what happened because I don't know what's happened on the trade wire since I've been on the show. So I don't know what's all happened, but we'll have the updates and we'll get in detail and in depth about the trades and what's happened with that and about injury and stuff like that. Plus, remember tonight, go ahead and check out my show After the Storm, which is my OKC post-game analysis, which I actually break down the Thunder, tell you about the game, the goods, the bads, that we are playing Paolo Banchero, so I'm interested to watch him play for the first time. So that being said, I hope you watch the show tonight and then come back, and then tomorrow, of course, I will give you the recap of what happened with the Thunder tonight. So everybody be safe out there and enjoy, enjoy this beautiful weather while it